Welcome to the Beyond the Food Weight Loss Summit. Get to your optimal healthy weight with holistic strategies and systems. My name is Pamela Pedrick. I am the creator and the host of the summit, and I am a registered nurse and a certified health coach. And I help women who work in healthcare to go from burnt out, exhausted, unhealthily overweight, and eating their feelings to rejuvenated, energized at their optimal healthy weight and no longer eating their feelings. I help them to break the chains of dieting and emotional eating so that they can stop surviving and start thriving. That's right, hashtag freedom. I am the creator of the 3-pillar personalized weight loss method. I have brought together over 40 speakers with 19 featured speakers. We'll be sharing with you their holistic strategies and systems that will help you to get to your optimal healthy weight for your unique body. What they will be sharing with you tackles every facet of the weight loss equation. Get to your optimal healthy weight with holistic strategies and systems. This summit will help you to save time from doing things that don't work and won't work. Time that you can be spending with your precious family and doing the things that you love. And to free you from the endless cycle of yo-yo dieting. So let's get to it. Welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Food Weight Loss Summit. Today we have Vickie Griffith. She is a certified hypnotist, therapist, and professional speaker and a licensed minister. She teaches how to crush cravings, manage anxiety, stop sabotage, and keep calm even through the chaos. And today we're going to discuss how to crush those cravings. So welcome, Vickie. So happy and excited to have you here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be part of this program.
Absolutely. And I'm curious, how did you come to do the work that you're currently doing? What's your journey been like for you?
Well, for most of us, I'm sure most of the people you interview, there's something that went on in their life that caused them to move into the trajectory of what they're helping people with. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was always fat. I was a fat baby, which is really cute up in the time we were about 3. And then chubby's not so fun anymore. I didn't really realize that fat was a problem until I was about 10. And that's when my mom took me to our family physician for an appetite suppressant. And I remember the doctor saying things like, well, just say to the other students, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, that's not true. Words really did hurt.
Yeah.
And he also prescribed speed, which was the appetite suppressant at the time. And as a reserved child, that kind of took me out of my shell a little bit, and that did not last long. My mom was not sure who that child was, and so she took them off. But that started the journey. From then on, I was looking at diets, I was dieting, I was trying to get the pounds off, and would lose a few pounds, gain a few pounds. And the cycle of dieting and failing at it really chipped away at my confidence. It really created a lot of self-esteem and worthiness issues. And about 21 years ago, I decided I'd had enough. And so I stopped dieting and have since released 70 pounds. I kept it off these 20 years. And so I did that through unconventional means. It was not a diet. It was not a food plan. I did it through changing my belief systems. And I actually did 3 things. I got rid of my scale. So I stopped weighing myself. And that was such a relief because it created such judgment and shame and guilt every day when I got on the scale. And for me, getting on the scale a few pounds down would be, yay, let's go get donuts. And a few pounds up was like, okay, let's go get donuts. So there was a conditioning around the scale I stopped judging myself and I stopped criticizing myself, which was really more difficult than any food diet I've ever been on. And I cut my portions down while I was working on what was going on in my heart, in my head, so it could change it permanently.
That's just, you spoke to a lot of things that many women can resonate with. You know, the scale that, okay, I'm down a few pounds. Yay, let's go get pizza or donuts. Or I'm up a few pounds. Oh, I feel bad. Let me go get some pizza and donuts. And then really, you know, there does need to be some mind work and some heart work involved with that. And I can sense that it was very freeing for you to just ditch the scale and not focus on that number. And so I'm so happy and excited to have you here today, because these are things that women really need to hear and understand. You know, the whole dieting aspect, it sets you up for failure. And then today you're going to talk about how to crush those cravings. And so since we're coming up to the holidays and there's going to be lots of sweets, lots of goodies around, let's talk about how we can crush cravings and maybe stay away from that and not give in to the temptation. So I'm curious, what is your definition of a craving? Because we can think about, yeah, I'm craving, yeah, I want some sugar. What really is a craving?
Craving is for me, it's a sense of urgency. So normally it's something that starts with a thought. Oh, chocolate chip cookies sound amazing. Well, I don't normally have chocolate chip cookies in the house. And if I do, it is something that's on the food plan that we follow now. So it is, gosh, you know, it's funny how we use different words around dieting, you know, the whole cheat mentality.
Yeah.
So it's not cheating because it's on our food program and we can have it. Now I am dairy-free and gluten-free. And people are like, well, what do you eat? Like, well, I can find all kinds of scrumptious things to eat. So cravings come with a thought, and then there's a sense of urgency. Many times cravings, they come from many things, but for me, it's anxiety, so stress. And again, that's all created by our thoughts. That's all comes from our thought process, the feeling of overwhelm. So then our feelings start getting involved. And it's like, well, what do I do? And this is all going on in your head. This isn't usually a conscious thought process. How do I release this anxiety or these thoughts or these feelings? And what I learned to do is cope with life through food. And so that's what happens. There's many things that can come up. There's triggers. So a trigger can be you see food that you love or you thought you loved or you used to love. I went into a convenience store once and I missed breakfast and I was going to get my husband's wallet. He was at Ready Care. He forgot his wallet at home. So I needed to rush back and get the wallet and back to the office. And I stopped into a convenience store, and it's actually around this time of the year. And they had purple cupcakes. And I thought to myself, I used to love those as a kid. So the sight created this craving. Then my thoughts started creating the reasons why I should have it. Oh, I'm in a hurry. I'm really starving. I used to love them. Let me just buy these cupcakes. And when I took the first bite, I'm like, oh my gosh, these things are horrible. How did I eat them? And then guess what I did? I didn't put them away. I didn't throw them away. I ate both of them, even though they tasted horrible, trying to recapture that childhood memory of freedom and happiness and joy because I was experiencing stress. So I saw them, it created the craving. Sometimes it's smell, you smell something. Sometimes it is, like I said, a feeling of stress, and we've had a lot of chaos in our lives lately and a lot of uncertainty. And so that people turn to food to cope with these emotions, to comfort ourselves. So there's many reasons why we have cravings. Sometimes it's a time craving. I used to have a craving every night at 9:30 for no reason whatsoever. I wouldn't be hungry. And then other times it is a reward for doing something or thinking something. That's where that cheat mentality comes up. Well, I'll cheat a little bit tonight because I've only eaten salads all day. Those are what cravings come from. But normally they come with a thought and they are backed by feelings. And then there's a sense of urgency that you have to have it. And sometimes obsession. That's the only thing you can think about.
Yeah. And it can be, because I know, especially if you're women who are out working, you know, and the coworkers bring in the donuts and the cookies, or I just made cake last night, or I just made pie, and speaking to that, oh, yeah, that pie is bringing back memories, you know, and I don't think a lot of women understand that. Can be very subtle at times, understanding that, okay, it's bringing back a happy memory. That's why I'm craving this, because I'm seeing it. So I'm curious, do you have any tips, you know, for the women who are watching us, what we can do, you know, how can we crush them, or how can we, in the moment when we have the craving, how can we, you know, say no and walk away?
Well, you could just do that. And that's what most of us are taught to do, is just say no and walk away.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It is doable, and I've done it. I'm sure many professional dieters like myself have a whole litany of things they can do to avoid it. They know how to distract themselves from it, but there's still that feeling that's still left. And that wasn't acceptable for me. I wanted something that would clear the feelings as well as help me move away from the craving. Because really the cravings are what sabotage our food programs. And if we can just, and that's what most people say to me, if I could just get over these cravings for, and there's usually one or two types of foods that they're craving, then I would be fabulous and be able to stick to my program. And so what I have discovered is a technique called tapping, emotional freedoms technique, when I first learned it many years ago. And I've seen it take away cravings in 30 seconds, along with the emotion behind it. And this is used while you're working on the deeper stuff. And I know we hate to talk about that because that feels scary, but it doesn't have to be. There, as you said, there's reasons why we are having these cravings. There's reasons why I never learned to cope with emotions, because I wasn't allowed to have emotions growing up. So there's threads in there that I had to go back and work with. And so while I'm working on that, this technique helped me with the craving and to dissolve the emotion in the moment, so I could go about feeling free from that and go about doing whatever I needed to do without even thinking about it anymore. And I'll be glad to show it to you if we got the time.
Absolutely, yes.
So if you would imagine, and you don't even have to have it in front of you, whatever your favorite food is. For some people it's bread and butter, others it's chocolate, others it might be wine. There's no right or reason, and there's no right or wrong. So it doesn't matter what the food is. And what you do is you follow along with me. After you've evaluated, you might not have a craving for it right now. Maybe just the thought brought up a craving for it or a desire for it. So 0 to 10, what is the level of craving? And even if it hasn't, please play along with me, because I'm kind of showing you how this works. And then I have a way that you can actually download some videos to support you in moving forward with this technique. It's really simple. And it's almost so simple that people are like, really? And it's really super silly. And people are like, you really want me to do that? And I've done this in like hundreds of people. 300 to 600 people have done this with me. So if they can do it, you can do it with me too, even if it feels silly. It's kind of like playing Simon Says, if you recall playing that game when you were younger. But I'm not going to stop and ask you Simon Says. And what you're going to do is tap. That's why it's called tapping, with your fingers. I'm right hand dominant, so I do use my right hand to tap. Use at least 2 fingers. You're going to start tapping on what's called the karate chop, which is right here on the side of your palm. And so you're thinking about that food. You've got a number 0 to 10. 10 is really intense. 0 is there's no craving. So somewhere in between, you're just going to repeat after me, even though I have this craving.
Have this craving.
I don't want to be without this food.
I don't want to be without this food.
Nobody's going to take it away from me.
Nobody's going to take it away from me.
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
love and accept these feelings.
love and accept these feelings.
Even though I'm feeling, and that's where you would put in your feelings. So even though I'm feeling anxious,
Even though I'm feeling anxious,
and I'm going to use chocolate chip cookies because that's one of mine. So, and chocolate chip cookies sound amazing.
and chocolate chip cookies sound so amazing,
And they taste amazing.
and they taste amazing,
And they'll make me feel good
and they'll make me feel good
for a moment or two.
for a moment or two.
I deeply and completely
I deeply and completely
appreciate these feelings.
appreciate these feelings,
Even though I really have this craving,
even though I really have this craving,
and chocolate chip cookies will fix the world.
and chocolate chip cookies will fix the world.
I love and appreciate these feelings.
I love and appreciate these feelings.
Now you're going to go to the very top of your head and just say,
This craving,
the next one is at your eyebrow, beginning of your eyebrow and nose, this craving,
this craving,
side of your eye right here on the bone, this
craving,
underneath your eye on the bone, this craving,
this craving,
underneath your nose, above your lips, this craving,
this craving,
and under your lips in the crease here of your chin, this craving.
this craving,
I told you this was silly, collarbone, either side, doesn't matter.
this craving,
And then the silliest one is actually underneath your arm, which you can't see in my camera, I don't think, but just underneath your armpit and say this craving.
this craving.
So take a deep breath. And then you reevaluate what's the thought for that food again, 0 to 10. Has it gone up? Has it gone down? Has it stayed the same? What's amazing about this technique, being a recovering perfectionist, is you can't do it wrong and it will still work. That's why I really recommend that you look at and opt in for the Crush Cravings. So crushcravings.com video series, so you can kind of study it a little bit more and play along with me. As you know, I try to make it, so you just saw, I try to make it silly, because I think that laughter is a good part of our healing process. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and we take ourselves, I took myself too seriously, so I'm assuming that others do too, especially around weight and body,
Yeah.
because there's so much shame. I mean, I can't tell you how many, I look at the headlines in the news every day, and about 4 out of 5 days, some celebrity is being body shamed, whether they're fat or thin. And it just breaks my heart that it's happening. If it's happening to them, it's happening to us too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned, the perfectionism. And I know there are many women who feel like they have to be so very perfect when they try to lose weight. And when they're not, that self-sabotage, those thoughts, those emotions, their cravings come and they just want to calm their nervous system down. So that tapping method is really good to calm your nervous system down. And I love how you said it does help with that thoughts that's behind the craving, because that's what so many women need, because they're not understanding that there's always a thought or an emotion before an action, before you go and say, yeah, I'll eat that cookie. And then that starts a whole downward spiral of guilt and shame. And then we start self-sabotaging again. So thank you so much, Vickie, because this is really a good practical method of helping women in the midst of the cravings to prevent those cravings and to really, I love how you said, even if you're not perfect, it'll still work for you. Even if you don't do it perfectly, it'll still work for you. It'll still work. Love that. Love that. So you do have a fabulous gift for our summit participants. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I mentioned it before. So if you go to crushcravings.com, you can download a video series. The videos aren't any longer than a couple minutes. I have a really short for you because I don't like to watch long videos either, especially when I'm trying to learn something. What's great about a video is that you can pause it and you can catch up and then push play again. And it will show you more of this technique, how to use this specifically for cravings. The whole idea, and it says under 30 seconds, and it's true, you can crush cravings in 30 seconds. Some take longer because as I unfolded some things around my emotions, some other things came up. I chose either to work on them then or later. But for the most part, if I could at least get through the craving and get through the feeling of it quickly, I have a lot to do, as everyone that's watching this does. And a lot of people in my life, it's important to me, and I want to spend my time with them and be 100% present with them rather than thinking, oh my gosh, there's a chocolate chip cookie in the cupboard.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also have something very special for our VIP access holders. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. So here's another thing that my clients were complaining about is, as you mentioned, it's the holiday. And then as we started unpacking, it's the holiday. Yes, it is the Thanksgiving and it's the seasonal holiday. And then most of it starts at Halloween, which starts real soon here. So this season of holidays, but there's also a holiday almost every month, or we can make something a holiday every month, a birthday. And so we have all of these reasons to go off our program. And so I created this specifically for this season. However, my clients are saying, this is awesome because it's helping me through all the other holidays as well. And what is a self-hypnosis recording called Taming the Feast? Because there are a lot of, we're getting back into in-person parties again. And if you had experience with those before, you know there's food and drink everywhere. And this is going to help you make better choices. Not saying you can't have anything, because I don't believe in that. But it will help you make better choices. So maybe you're taking a little bit of everything that you love. The holidays are such a celebration of life, and it is to be enjoyed, and so is the food. And there are traditional foods in families that you only get once a year. So I would never tell you, oh, you can't have that because you're trying to lose weight. Instead, let's figure out a way to take a little and enjoy it and be satisfied with it and by it instead. So the self-hypnosis recording, Taming the Feast. I also have a self-hypnosis recording called Zen the Mood, which is a quick 15-minute break for that time during the day where you can take a few minutes to sit and be still so you can feel re-energized. Because a lot of times we're pulled in so many different directions during the holiday season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Vickie. I do so appreciate you being here today. And so before we leave, do you have any final thoughts or words of encouragement for our participants?
Absolutely. Don't quit on yourself. Just because it feels like you failed at weight loss, the truth is you just haven't found the right method. And this summit is so perfect for you because with all the experts, you're going to find the right method for you to be able to release the weight. And once you're on that, it will feel easier for you because it's right for you. I have done them all. I mean, I've done them all of the diets, and from the big box to, grapefruit pills. I've done all the crazy stuff in between. And it's just that I couldn't find out what was right for me. And what was right for me is to stop dieting. So I stopped worrying about the diet and started working on the emotions. That might not be right for you, but I'm sure in the summit, you'll find somebody that you can resonate with. Don't quit on yourself. Talk to them and find out how to get involved with them a little bit deeper so that you can get the release that you're looking for, because that's really what we all want. More than just the pounds off our body, we want the release of the emotions that are happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vickie. To your health, and we'll catch you on the next episode.